every single person in the world has insecurities. Everybody tries to hide them. If you don't address them, it can really keep you from doing a lot of great things and limit you.
If they haven't made any mistakes, I tell them you haven't tried hard enough. You are not doing new things. If we've mastered something, we're not growing.
If you're giving a task, then and you don't feel ready, you still should take that courage to just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just try, fail, adjust, grow.
I wouldn't trust anyone for a second who claimed that they knew everything.
Be brave. Try new things. Get out of your skin. Get out of your comfort zone. And you might be amazed at what you accomplish and all the people you're able to help along the way.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Carpool Conversations. I have with me today Stefan Feder, head of aftermarket North America for, I'm going to make you say the company.
AUMOVIO.
AUMOVIO. And I have Dwayne Myers, owner and managing partner of Dynamic Automotive. Welcome, guys.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fun.
Right.
And to be with Stefan, that's awesome.
I'm equally honored to be on this podcast with Dwayne.
Yeah, we've been wanting to get you on here for a while. This has been a long time coming.
Yep. Well, we have this one, and then we have another topic of introvert, extrovert. At some point, we should talk about.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, just well, both of us live in the introvert world.
No, I was just...
And we're introverts, but everyone thinks that we're so outgoing and extrovert because we are so interactive with people.
As our batteries slowly drain.
All there to nothing. To nothing.
Yeah.
Yep, I feel that every day. Mm-hmm. So today, when we did our pre-meeting, I just knew I wanted both of you on, and I thought you guys would be together or great together. And so I first emailed, it kind of felt like I was setting up my friends, because I was like, Dwayne, I don't know if you know Stefan really well, but I feel like you'd be great on a podcast with him. And he was like, I was like, I haven't told him yet, so if you say no big deal. And he was like, I love Stefan. So then I went to Stefan. He was like, what do you think about doing a podcast with Dwayne? And he's like, oh, I love Dwayne, so excited. So I didn't realize you guys knew each other so well. So how did you guys get to know each other?
Actually, we got to know each other through the Yang Mentorship program. One of the greatest gifts, for a mentor on the mentor side, and I tell other people to be mentors, Jackie, you get to meet great people and you learn so much. When you give your own life experiences and you try to help people, the circle. And Stefan was about 2 years ago, I think it was in the group, and we had a great group of team. For a team, and we got to know each other really well. And because we had that mentor-mentee, and honestly, the roles switched back and forth.
Yeah.
They might not have realized it, but they were switching back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
And I got to know him very well, and I'm blessed to call him a friend from that program.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
No, it is an awesome program. Last year I was a mentee, had a very great mentor in Dwayne. And yeah, as you said, it was an awesome group. And then this year I switched roles, switched sides. So I aged out. So I'm now on the mentor side, but I wanted to continue that program because I think it's a really great program, not only because of the topic that you discuss and what you get out of it for your own development, but also because you're in this little group of peers. Mm-hmm. It's usually, what is it? Five people?
5 to 6, but you end up with 3 to 4 usually,
But you build out that circle of trust, and you really create that great environment, and you create a closer network than you probably build at any reception. So,
and that's one reason why I recommend leaders in this industry to become mentors. It helps connect you back to the newest generation. Mm-hmm. That's our team.
Yeah.
And Stefan Dunya was in it, a couple others, a really great group. I learned so much just how to connect and talk with them, where my own team is not as giving sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, you know who my mentee now is in my group?
Dunya.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
So we went from peer, now mentor, mentee. But I mean, as you said, it's going back and forth, and everyone in the group is the smartest one in their group. So we all learn from each other. Mm-hmm. So, and it's an awesome exchange.
So you've been doing that this whole year? You've been a mentor since January?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I just thought you were still a mentee.
I am.
Oh, yeah. I suppose. Yeah.
Yep.
Fine.
We all are.
So when I did the pre-meeting with you guys and I learned that you guys were met through Yang, I just knew I wanted you guys on, but I didn't have anything specific to talk about. I was going along, like, you guys are both very successful leaders. We're successful leaders, pretty young in your career. So I figured that there would be something there. But Stefan, you mentioned maybe we approach this topic about insecurities.
Yes. Regretted the minute I said it.
Yes. And my ears perked up.
I was scared right away.
Yeah, I was too, but I love it. Because it's a really good one. Every single person in the world has insecurities. Everybody tries to hide them. If you don't address them, it can really keep you from doing a lot of great things and limit you. So I think this is a great conversation to have, especially with two, well-accomplished leaders who have just admitted to our entire audience that you also have insecurities. So to kick this off, I did do a poll on LinkedIn just to kind of gauge from our audience what their insecurities are. And I ended up, the question was, which insecurity is holding you back the most? The 4 answers were not being good enough, being judged by others, fear of failure, and then comparing myself to others. I was really surprised. Well, I guess I wasn't surprised by this one, but the one that was the least was fear of failure. And that surprises me because I would think that would be the biggest one easily.
I think that depends on the company, who you're around, and how comfortable you are with trying new things.
Yeah.
Anyone, especially someone on a leadership journey, if they haven't made any mistakes, I tell them you haven't tried hard enough. You are not doing new things. If we've mastered something, we're not growing. We don't make many mistakes in what we're currently doing because we're good at that. But when we step into our next level of our career or where we're heading, or just trying something new, we're bound to fail. And I tell our team, fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
Make the mistake, own the mistake. That's the biggest part because now it's education. As soon as you own it, it's no longer an expense. It's now education. And I think it might be the lowest because hopefully our industry is prepping their future leaders to take chances.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, and that might be the reason. But to me, if you set it up properly, you have your team or whoever you're working with, or if you're just doing it yourself, be okay with making a mistake.
Yeah.
It's just human.
I was not too surprised. I mean, if you think about that fear of failure, it is legit, but I think if you expand that sentence and you say fear of failure in front of somebody else.
Yeah.
So if you try something new and you're alone in your little room, you don't mind if you fail because nobody sees it except you.
Yeah.
And you just repeat until you have mastered it. So, and that was I think, and that's why also I think that was it option B or something is hey, being judged by others.
Yeah.
That's, I think, really, that's the consequence. That's why you are afraid of of failing because you will then be judged by others.
Well, it's the nature of insecurities, I think, is based around other people's thoughts of you. Because if nobody cared what anyone thought, then what are you insecure about?
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't realize that when I made this poll, but being judged by others, comparing myself to others, even fear of failure, if that would have been an extended question, being why are you afraid to fail?
Yeah.
It probably would have been because I don't want people to judge me.
Yeah.
Or
is it judging you or your feeling of letting them down?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because I think, especially if you're in a team, in a group, and you are tasked with something new and you do it, you don't want to let the team down. I think a lot of people aren't as worried about failing themselves. They don't want to fail the team. And maybe that's part of it too, is they don't want to fail their coworkers, their friends, the people they've been doing things with, because we all succeed together.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to be a failure.
Yeah.
I like that thought. And also, especially if you grow in your career and the more responsibility you have, the decisions that you make have a much more longer reach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly on that. What you are saying is hey, you don't want to let the team down, right? You have responsibilities for their lives. And if you make the wrong call, that could have an impact on your team. So.
Oh, it absolutely does. I look at it as in business. I mean, 20 years ago, we almost went out of business. And one of the things that weighed on me the most, because at the time we had about 30 team members, and I'm that's 30 families.
Yep.
That if I make the wrong call, they now are in trouble as well.
Yeah.
You know, and now that's only increased. It's doubled. But I've gotten more confident, but they still my number one worry is I got to make sure that my team is good. And you do that through trying to make the right calls, not always the right one every time, but learn and grow.
How often does that keep you awake at night?
Thankfully, not too often. It does happen.
That's
though.
heavy.
It is heavy, especially, you know, and when we were in serious trouble years ago, and it's 2008 during the financial crisis, it's heavy. I mean, literally, I seen the stress it weighed on myself and then my two business partners, but it literally put my two business partners in a midlife crisis till they checked out for a little bit. To their credit, I mean, they came back, but the weight was heavy. And even my wife was like, I don't understand. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm like, I carry this. And she's like, why carry it? And I said, I just do.
But that's like pressure. That's like life pressures. It's not necessarily an insecurity you have. There's just a lot of things outside of your control, and you don't want to hurt someone's livelihood.
But if it's out of your control, does that really take it off of your worry?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Although now today, 20 years later, I tell you, don't worry about what you can't change.
Yeah.
I believe that. I mean, focus on what you can change. But 20 years ago, no, I put that on my shoulders, and it did keep me up at night. I drank too much back then because it literally, I had to have some, relief. Avenue and relief, and it wasn't a good one, but it just was heavy. And thankfully we got out of it and crawled out of it. And it was a crawl, but our team helped us crawl out of that. But our team saw our commitment to them, and then they stayed committed to us.
Do you guys think that it gets easy, like as you trust yourself and give yourself a little bit more grace to fail a little bit more often, you want to try bigger things, take bigger risks, you have to allow yourself a little bit of failure. That's what's going to be a part of that process and a part of that growth. Do you think it gets easier to accept failure as you practice that?
In the way of getting used to it, or like already have that preset mind that is like, hey, it's probably not working out in your first try, and it's like, hey, probably I will fall down, or maybe I want to fall down because I will then be able to really learn from it.
Yeah. I went through this phase where I never wanted to fail at anything. So like, you don't do a lot of things because you don't know if you can do it. So you just don't do big things. But once I realized that failure is just part of the process, and I really ingrained that in my mind, I wasn't so afraid to try things to, not everybody's going to like it. This kind of stuff just got easier conversations for me to have with myself in my head, and like not to look at a failure as that's the end. It's like, I just figured out that doesn't work. So now I try something else. It gets easier.
Well, that's the more mature Jackie as time has gone on. But think of it also as the leader, if you don't show an example of failure, and I mean, there's different levels. You don't have to be wrecking the world when you have a failure. Your team needs to see how you handle that. That way they can grow. They need examples. And if you're always never making mistakes, you're still not giving them permission. And I'm not saying go out and fail on purpose, but it's all right. And then you just embrace it. And you also really need to learn how to laugh at yourself too. Yeah. You just gotta like, well, that was dumb, and if you do that, then people are like, well, if he's cool with it, then I can be cool with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to it.
I mean, that's how you develop also that trust into that. It's like, hey, if he's okay with himself failing, then probably I am too. What
about comparison and comparing yourself to others?
I think that's a big one.
Yes.
I don't know if it may contribute to insecurity, but it's and in that social media world that we're now in, you have that constant comparison, right? You always what you see on social media is that perfect life.
Yes.
And
highlight reel.
You don't see all the background, and there were maybe, 50 recording that came to that one little snapshot that you then see on social media, and you say, wow, that guy nails it every time. Every video I look of that guy, he nails it, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know all the effort that was put into that up front. So that, I think, increases the aim for being perfect.
Yeah.
And like, there's no room for failure. Because everything that you see is like, everything is like perfect.
Right.
But you don't.
Like, I must be awful because I'm nothing like
so,
that.
And you're comparing then yourself or your own performance to that perfect 1 minute snapshot that you see. So, I think it's a big thing. and it can contribute to insecurity. When, looking back at the poll, I think that really being judged by others is, to me, the main thing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But nevertheless, I think the more social media we have, I think that, comparing yourself to others is just like, it's a constant.
Yeah. It doesn't really make much
help.
sense to do that, does it? Because like there's people we all admire, or like people that have like the job you want or do something really well that you want to do well. But like you can admire that without comparing yourself to them, right? Because you didn't see where they started. You don't know what their struggles were. You might have, better advantages than they had. You just have no idea of like what their story was necessarily. So comparing yourself to somebody else just because they might be somewhere where you want to be isn't necessarily the best tool, but I think it's really hard not to do, especially with social media. I didn't even think about the social media side of this.
About a month ago, I had a conversation with one of our young technicians, and he's actually in our apprenticeship program. And he, today's generation seems to have a lot more anxiety, especially since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't socialize as much, aren't used to getting out, being around people, and decision making. And not even being right for wrong, but just making a decision, a choice. It's like fixing a car. You're making a choice every time you say, this is what's wrong with the car. And the company's relying on it, the service advisor is relying on it, and then it goes to the customer, realize that you're right. We're not always right.
Yeah.
We're right most of the time, but sometimes we're not. And you own that, but this young individual, anxiety was really getting the better of him, and he was just wanting more mentorship, more. I don't want to say hand holding, but he wanted someone to fly his wing all the time. And I'm like, well, it's hard for you to grow when someone's there with you. So I told him a story about myself, long ago. Right after I got out of the Army, I went to work for a heavy duty, company that hauled gasoline. And one of the jobs we got that came with working on trucks was we got a little beeper. Let's date it for you. Got a beeper. We were on call 1 week out of the month. And when one of the trucks broke down, all in the DC, Baltimore area, we had to go get it. And, just so happens, I just got this pager, just got on call rotation, 23, and get a call. Truck's broke down. It's 100 miles away. Saturday night, 2 a.m. I'm like, I call my boss. I wake him up. What do I do? He says, do this, this, and this. What I already knew to do.
Yeah.
So he was happy about that at 2 a.m. in the morning.
He sucked that one up, didn't say a word. Another month went by. Same thing. I called him. He sucked that one up too. 3rd month, I called him. He comes in up Monday morning and he looks at me and he goes, what's wrong? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, why do you keep calling me when you already have the answer to the question? And I'm like, I'm dealing with, $150,000 worth of equipment. If I tow a tractor trailer full of gasoline and has a wreck, it's $1 million. People could die. And he's like, look, I'm not always going to be here to answer your question. You're trained. You know what you're doing. Make a decision. Just know why you make it. Even if you're wrong, anything he'll say, I just want to know why you decided that. He says, if you thought, that tells me you at least thought about your decision. And so from there on, and I still use this today, and I told this to the apprentice, is just make a decision, but think about why you're making it. As long as you can tell me why, I will not be mad at you, because I know you thought through it the best you could. 99% of the time, you're going to be right. But it took him to just confront me. And that's what it was, because I was just petrified to make that call. Because I'm like, this is a lot of money. This is a lot on the line. At people's lives on the line. Of course, I'm in the middle of a city, DC or Baltimore in the middle of the night, not the best places to be. And he just comes down to it. Make a choice. And that's what I try to tell our team. Make a choice. So I told him that story to try and lift him out of the anxiety a little bit. And he is doing much better. And hopefully that story gave him a little bit, but yeah, it's natural.
Yeah.
Basically, don't overthink it, right?
if you have
I mean,
the
think,
education,
but don't overthink it.
you have the education and the experience, use the facts and what you know to make a call. I think anyone can work with that.
Yeah. And I think of like kind of what you're talking about too is, having a little bit of anxiety about making a decision because there's so much on the line or whatever. A lot of that is like having a little bit of trust in yourself that if you get yourself into a mess, that you can get yourself out of a mess too. And that's a skill that you build by taking risks
And making mistakes.
and making mistakes. So like it kind of just goes back to like all of this growth. And another thing you're touching on is really, taking responsibility
Mhm.
for a decision you made.
And the responsibility is really just the thought process into it. Really think about it. If you make a choice and you've gone over everything and it's presented to you, and you made an educated decision out of it, you're most likely right.
Most things in life are educated guesses.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, yes.
So like we're all guessing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about not being good enough? So maybe not starting something because your insecurity is like, I don't want to start a podcast because I don't know how to do podcasts. I'm not good enough. Something like that. What would you say to somebody that has that insecurity?
I mean, that follows the line of the imposter syndrome. Right?
Yeah.
And not being ready, not being good enough. So,
Yeah.
but that's, I think if somebody gives you a task, then that person thinks you are ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that person puts that faith in you. And that person may also know that you may fail, but that person knows that, you will learn from it, you will grow from it, but you're ready to make that step.
Yeah.
Even though yourself, you're not feeling ready. So if you're giving a task, then, and you don't feel ready, you still should take that courage to just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just try, fail, adjust, grow.
I look at my team and I look at people, friends and all, and I spin things positively, and I see the best in people and what they can do more so than what they believe they can do. And I talk to them and they're like, I'll tell them, you should do this, you should be a mentor. You should do, there's things that I think I see in you. I'm like, there's so much you could do. And they're like, I don't see that. And I said, I know you're not there, but your journey will take you there if you take the chance to do that. So I push. I'm a little pushy as a leader when it comes to developing people, but I push for the right reasons. I had to be careful because I've slightly broken a couple times and I had to go back and help. But 99% of the time, the push really set them on a trajectory for success.
Yeah.
And it was in them, they'll come back and thank me. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. All I did was just encourage you a little bit,
Yep.
and as a leader, that's what we are, is we influence, and we influence in a positive way, and they might not see it yet, but our vision's a little different. We see a little longer and a little more in people. Quite honestly, we just believe in them more than they believe in themselves, which, could be your imposter syndrome. Like, I know there's boards I'm on, and I sit down, I'm like, all right, if we're measuring revenues, I've got 2 commas and they got 3. And I'm like, but can be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 60 team members. You have 60,000. But
Big jump.
but it is a big jump, but you think about it. I still belong in that room. I have different, I can bring different things to the table than what they bring. And that still also goes into like building a team where you don't want the same of everybody.
Yeah.
But you have to learn to be comfortable in your own success and not compare it to someone else's success.
Yeah.
Where I started to where I'm at, I'm very proud of that. But and I'm sure the people I'm sitting next to has as well, but our journeys were different, so it's never apples to apples.
Yeah.
Why compare it? And why think that you don't belong there? There's not a room I go in today that I don't feel that I can belong. I still get worried about it.
Yeah.
I still get a little nervous about it. And I'm like, yeah, but I can do this.
Yeah. There's something with aging and wisdom where you're like, nobody around this table knows everything. Like nobody, like there's things, life in the world changes so fast. Like I wouldn't trust anyone for a second who claimed that they knew everything, like it's more about those skills of like being a quick learner or being able to adapt and like things like that. That's what really like nobody around that table knows everything that they're doing, but some people around that table have a really good way of not knowing what they're doing and figuring it out. You know, it's like a skill thing. It's not a knowledge thing. It's not that you don't belong. You might just be less, you're in a different stage, right?
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Everyone's journey is different,
Right.
and we're at different points in our journey.
Mhm.
And quite honestly, I feel when you're around a diverse group in that area, you grow from that.
Mhm.
You know, back to the Yang Mentor program. The people in that program, with the mentees, were all leaders. Every single one of them were leaders. You know, at the top of their game in their area and their journey where they were at. My journey is just a little longer. But we still learned from each other, and I think we grew together as a group throughout that year.
100%. And I wanted to add two things. So the one thing, again, on not being good enough. So it's like this waiting for being ready.
Yeah.
So if you do that, then you'll never be ready, because how do you get there if you don't start? So, and if you wait, then you're standing still at your point, and you'll never reach that point where you're ready. So that's why you need to start your journey. You need to start to fail. So otherwise you'll never be ready.
Yeah.
So that's that one thought. The other thought, on what you said on the leader sitting at the table, not knowing. Also, it's like what I feel through my career is the further you grow in through on the ladder, and the more you're getting into the leadership role, the more you're on the management side, the less you're disconnected from the day-to-day operational things. So you have that background, you come with it, but it might be 10 years old knowledge. So, and things have changed. And that is where you're getting that disconnection, and you have that lack of information. And that to me is my biggest contributor on insecurity. Is like, hey, I know that's how it used to be 10, 15 years ago, but hey, maybe it has changed, and I'm acting based on that. What I'm convinced of is the right move, but there are other voices that say, no, we need to go that direction. We know we need to go that direction, and based on the information that they have. So we all make decisions based on the information that they have. And also coming back to your diversity and the info, and really everyone is contributing to the table. So we all see information differently based on our experience. So, and we all, you get all these different influences, and one says we need to go that way. The other one says we need to go that way. And you have your own thing, which is maybe, I don't know, maybe we need to go in circles. So, but then that really contribute to that insecurity. Is like, hey, we all see that differently. We all have different information, and really, how do you pick the one which is then really the right course?
Right.
So
that's where I think you got to rely on your team and the people you work with.
Yeah.
Because I don't have grease all over my hands and have it for 10 years. And, when it comes to fixing cars, I am no longer the expert. Even in the sales process, I was just in a marketing class, and they're asking questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't have that answer to that, because I'm not the one that does that anymore. And I'm 100% good, because I do believe you got to let go so you can do new. And, but that's where, as a leader, it's okay to look to your team to give you the current, what's currently going on. Because what was going on 10 years ago, I mean, just in the workforce, it has changed drastically in the last 5 years, much less 10. And if you're still doing what motivated you 20 years ago, you're going to have workforce issues. So that's where, as a leader, it's okay. And then that's not failure. That's just using your resources to actually learn.
Absolutely. But that was my biggest misconception when I started my career, because I saw the leader always as the person that knows it all. Right? That person comes in the room, and because of his position, he has to know everything. So that was my biggest misconception when I started. And then, which also was intimidating to not speak up, because, hey, I already know that, hey, if that person in the room with his role, he already knows it. So I don't need to speak up. But on your journey, and then you go to the other side. So you are that person that maybe others see, that Mr. Know-it-all, that you have no idea. So.
Oh no!
But you need the input of the others.
We're clueless half the time. No, what we know is how to have the resources and how to build the team that we can get the information we need to the big picture information to make the calls we got to make.
Yeah,
that's part of the leadership journey, is realizing. And some leaders can't let go where they're not the expert. I feel that's a mistake, because honestly, it's like working on cars for us, that's an operational thing, where I feel, they're fixing a car, a product, doing something, building something, making something. You can put that in any part of our industry. Leadership's about people.
Yep.
And if you're worried about all the nuances of what makes a BMW run, how are you working on the people? As the leader, our job's people. So we got to let go of all the control of the operational stuff. Now we guide it. It's important to guide it to make sure that we're staying on vision, mission, our values. But we're not the ones that do the day to day. So then that's when we rely on our networks and our people. And then our people need to know that I'm relying on you to give me the answers because I don't have them.
The answers or the input, you rely on the team you speak up if you go the wrong way because.
Oh, I know mine well. Really quick.
Yeah.
I relate so much to what you said, Stefan, because sometimes people will ask me about podcasts now. Like I'm some kind of expert in podcasts, something I knew nothing about 12 months ago. Like nothing about.
Look at you now.
Well, it's just funny. Like that should tell you everything you need to know about imposter syndrome and thinking you're not good enough and you not knowing the journey. Like I like to share the journey because there's been a lot of fumbles along the way. I like to share it so that people see anybody can do anything, but you're not going to do much if you just sit around and you're worried that you're not good enough today. Like some of the biggest experts knew nothing at one point.
Well, it just makes you very relatable. When you do that, people can connect with you.
Yeah.
That to me, that's just being smart.
Yeah. So, the last one, and this was the biggest one, was being judged by others. And I think this would have been so you said, which one was you would have chose? This one?
Biggest one, yeah.
Judging? Okay.
Judged by
What
others.
about you?
Actually, I'll have to agree with that one.
Yeah.
This
Would have been mine. It used to stop me from doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I am very curious about your guys' thoughts on this one.
It's sometimes we worry about what people think about us, and what we do. They see a result or something we did and have no idea all the whys behind the decision we had to make. But yeah, there's people out there that do not know me at all, that don't care for me. And I'm like, I don't even know this person, but I'd love to go meet him. Some people look at us, all right, he's successful. And I'm like, well, I got plenty of blunders, but they see that and there's a reason not to like me for it. Yeah. And I'm like, at one point in my life, it actually bothered me a little bit. I'm like, why do you not like me? And then I finally just realized that, that's your problem, not mine. I'm not the problem here. But it's kind of funny though. And it does make you wonder and worry, but really in the end, you got to be happy with yourself and what you're doing and how you're taking care of your team and things like that. That's what's important, not what the outside world thinks.
Yeah.
If you think about how you're growing up, like school, for example, you're constantly being judged, right? You're getting grades. So, hey, and then if you bring good grades at home, you're also being judged at home. Hey, you're being applauded if you bring good grades home. You have different reaction if you're not bringing a good grade home, depending on your household, that might have caused or bring out different reactions. So you're constantly being judged and you want to be judged in a positive way. So, and also then if you then start your professional life and your career, and if you're eager and you have that long-term vision where, hey, one day you want to be in that leadership position, that in order to go there, especially in the corporate world where I started, is in order to advance, you will be judged by others. Your performance will be judged. And so you want to constantly show a good performance in order to, because the better or the more constantly you are judged on good performance, the faster you may be able to climb that ladder. So, and that's contributing to, that, hey, better not make a mistake, better look always smart, don't ask questions that may be dumb, right? So there's just like this constant, because you feel you're constantly judged because you want to advance. So, and that's, I think, what contributed to my early days in the career of really being intimidated or insecure in asking questions that may be helpful for me, but you're holding back because it's like, if I ask that question, maybe they think I have no idea what I'm doing. So this is like really this being judged of others, and which really is, don't hold back. So because your question may help others in the room, and asking a question shows that you are really thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
I think it shows engagement.
Yeah.
You know, where you're actively a part of something.
Yeah.
Where when you're quiet, you know, not that you're not engaged, but you don't see the demonstration of it. Yeah, the questions are great. And I was never great at asking questions for the longest time. I've gotten better at it because I found out that I make better choices and decisions when I do.
Mm-hmm.
No, but and if you think about that, if you're now flipping the side and there's a big meeting, you have 5 people in the room and there's one person that has not said a single word, has not asked a single question. You ask yourself, why was that person even in the room?
Yeah.
So, and
maybe they don't need a seat at the table.
Right. So, and rather ask a question that does not make sense. But as you said, it shows engagement. So.
Yeah. I relate a lot to like a lot of what you said. And I think like I had an instance a few years ago where I just found out like it felt like for the first time in my whole life, like there was people kind of like poking fun and didn't like me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, well, what am I doing? You know, I need to just disappear. And I was like frozen. But I think what I realized when I was like getting through that is a lot of like for every person who judges you or doesn't like you, who doesn't barely even know you, there's a lot of people that feel the exact opposite. And you need to just like focus on the people you're inspiring or the people that do like you or do encourage you and focus on the good. Cause there's some people that I always just joke in like the keynotes and stuff that I do that some people just want to watch the world burn. I think that's a Batman quote, but they exist. They're like, somebody is happy. Somebody's doing well. I don't like it. And they want to tear it down. You know, it's just like their nature. And I just think it's just such a shame that so many people will take that and then not do great things because, you know, I think even if you don't like what somebody's doing, if you have the right kind of attitude, you'll see the good in what they're doing. You'll see what they're trying to do. It's like when I see people trying new things, like a lot of people ask me about, you know, advice on LinkedIn and things like that. And everybody's afraid to post on LinkedIn because they get judged, right? Like a lot of people make assumptions about people who talk about themselves too much. Or like it's not, you know, it's there's a facade around it. But whenever I see somebody new kind of starting to post on LinkedIn, I am so proud of them. I'm like, that is hard to do. That shows bravery. Yeah, it wasn't like didn't get a bunch of likes and it wasn't a super engaging post. The algorithm, you know, wasn't quite right, whatever. But I'm like, good for them. Like, I just think that there's a certain kind of person in this world that you're never going to impress.
Yeah. But it's like here, you have first time trainers. You know, I overly support a first time trainer, especially when they prepare, tried everything they can do and they get up and they're not the most polished and they fumble a little bit. That's okay. We're here to cheer you on and all. And afterwards I'll make sure I congratulate them and thank them. And if they ask like, you know, what can I do to be better? Which a lot do, you know, constructive, you know, things to help.
You always say a lot.
Where do I start? Let me get this list out.
We meter that and, you know, but that's what gets them better.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great points. So, I guess, you know, in closing, you know, if somebody were to take away one thing from our conversation, what do each of you hope that it is?
I had a good thought along the way, but I lost it. So I let Dwayne start.
Okay.
Now I'm scared.
It's because it's day 2 of Apex.
You know, and what I'm going to share is what really made a big difference for me. Because fear used to hold me back. Don't let fear define you. Be brave. Try new things. Get out of your skin. Get out of your comfort zone. And you might be amazed at what you accomplish and all the people you're able to help along the way. So don't let fear define you.
That's a good one. Like it. I had a completely different thought along the way, but I lost it. So I'm picking up something new. So, on the line of, being judged by others, it's like you're judged by others no matter what, regardless if you do something or if you're not doing something. So, and then rather, be in that driver's seat. What's the episode called? Is it?
What?
It's not driver's seat, right? We're not on the driver's seat.
Oh, carpool conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. You're
on the driver's seat in the car, but no. So be in the driver's seat and just try it because you will be judged no matter what.
Yeah.
So, and
True.
maybe that's my takeaway that.
So if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
But I'd rather
do it.
I'd rather be damned for trying.
Yeah.
Because that's positive. You're moving forward and the likelihood of making a good call.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is probably speaking to a very niche audience, but I don't know, something I learned is that you're not going to be for everybody, and you shouldn't be for everybody, and that's okay. So if you lose some people along the way, as long as you're also growing, I think that you're doing a good thing by honing in on an audience, honing in on like your circle, honing in on your group, and it doesn't have to be everybody. And if you're just as quick to let those people go as they were to judge you in the first place, I think it's kind of a freeing.
Yeah, you can't be everything for everyone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
pick and choose and do the right thing for the people that you care about and that you like.
exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
What a ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've arrived. I really appreciate you guys coming on.